Well, people picture Seattle as this gem of the Pacific Northwest with the, the mountains and closeness to water and just a beautiful city with the Space Needle and the Seattle Center and all of our culture. But the fact is, we also have one of the highest rates of juvenile prostitution, where young girls and young boys are being sexually exploited up here. People aren't aware. They can't believe that Seattle, beautiful Seattle, would be a place where children would be commercially sexually exploited and used.
The stories of these young people who get involved in prostitution, sex trafficking, really hasn't changed. They are vulnerable in the same ways that they have always been. They have nothing. They are groomed for prostitution long before they're ever actually involved and under the control of a pimp.
The way that we've glamorized the commercial sex trade and have the pretty woman effect, people think that this is a non-violent, victimless crime. And what we know is that it is profoundly violent, and it really interrupts the developmental process of a 13 or 14 or an adolescent of any age.
When you look closely at the commercial sexual exploitation of minors, you see a side of the community that most people don't ever want to see.
When I was 16, I had a child and had to leave my home. Eventually I ended up meeting somebody who I thought was really great and had a nice car and had money and had all these ideas for me that, there was ways I could make money, and we began a relationship, and he was what I thought was my boyfriend, and he turned out to be a pimp, so that's how I got involved in prostitution.
You have the tricks that are raping you. You have your pimp raping you if you're not bringing the right amount of money in. You'll have your pimp that will allow other pimps to rape you to teach you a lesson. So you have all these things that are going on with the girls, and the youthful innocence, sparkle, laughing is not there. You have to harden yourself a certain amount in order to stay involved in that lifestyle.
It is very important for people to understand this is not a choice. Just because some young woman is given money, that does not translate into consent.
So these 13 and 14-year-old young people are facing addiction, trauma, sexual violence, incarceration at extremely high rates.
I tried to leave several times, and every time I tried to leave, he would, beat me up when he found me and, threaten my child, threaten his life, do different things to keep me. So that made it difficult to leave. And then also, once you do finally get away from your pimp or the person who's exploiting you don't feel like there's anything else you can do, and that's all you really know how to do. And so I think that it's just really, really hard to get out of that whole lifestyle, because you're just, you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe you can do anything else.
What the girls go through and why they are running to the pimps is generally they're not running to something, it's the running away from something. You don't just get involved in prostitution without something maybe already else having happened. You're willing to give more away because so much has already been taken from you. And that's what I see going on with the youth. They've already been violated.
There have been some significant changes and trends in the last 10 years. The first is the change in technology, which really allowed for a more anonymous and an easier way to access the commercial sex trade.
Now they're not even on the sidewalk, and they go straight from an anonymous online profile to someone's hotel room, and it's harder for us to catch them in our safety net.
It's still dangerous. The girl doesn't know who she's going to meet. She doesn't know, who this guy is. But it takes it out of the public eye. There's not a whole bunch of girls standing on a street. Now it's just, a whole bunch of girls online.
So you have your teenage daughters next door that the pimps are looking for. They're looking for white girls, Caucasian girls, because they're going to make the most money.
We've worked with young people who were turned out and exploited by a gang when they were 9 and 10 years old.
It's a huge money-making business, and our gang members, as well as our entrepreneurial pimps, they see that, and they learn that that's a way to make some quick money. It's low risk for a high return.
The only way we can break this cycle is to stop the demand and to prevent people from being able to buy women and children.
What's really unfair about this is that the criminal justice system and society at large participate and collude in the unfair treatment of young people and individuals in the commercial sex trade. These are kids. They deserve our protection, they deserve our care, they deserve respect, and they deserve to have an equal playing field and to not be shamed and stigmatized.
A new approach to the violent pimp who may have more than one young woman. We now can charge them with human trafficking, we can charge them with sexual exploitation of minors, and what used to be a 6-month sentence might be a 10 or 20-year sentence. We have tough laws now in place to go after the demand side of sexual exploitation. You know, I think words are important. I don't call them Johns because I think that minimizes the danger that they are to the community. These are men who exploit, rent young girls for violence and sex. And we're battling for the hearts and minds of these young girls. They may believe that they love their pimp. He's brainwashed them into thinking that. They may be addicted to the allure of the streets. We need to have something to offer them as an alternative.
What's so great about Stolen Youth is that everybody in this organization has made it their job to really understand this problem. They understand what it takes. They are really going to be there for the long haul.
What youth really need to get out of the life is comprehensive services that include safe housing, education, case management. Employment is really important so that they, have other economic strategies. They need caring, non-judgmental, and compassionate people. We've tried to provide all of this at Youth Care's Bridge program and be a model to other programs and agencies across the country. But in the end of the day, what we really need is support for programs such as these and public awareness.
So we can take the example of the Bridge program. I think we need to expand it in age. We need to expand the services. We need to offer it to young women who are being exploited as a real alternative to get away from the violent pimp and the violent exploiters of the street and into a brighter future. Together, I think we can do that.
There needs to be money available to do it. That's the hope, is that somebody would care enough about me to put money toward my future. That's what I would want for them. Just somebody to care.
I really, really hope that there are enough resources for these women and girls.
My hope is that we, as a society and as families and communities, are working together to end the next generation of demand.
Well, I hope that we can develop a culture in the Northwest where sexual exploitation of youth is not only unacceptable, but it's unthinkable.
My hope is that men will stop buying women and children. My hope is that decent men will confront and stand up against those men who do and not be bystanders.
A lot of times we turn away from things because mentally, emotionally, it's too difficult to look at your psyche. You can't even begin. So instead of helping and reaching out and stopping, we'll just turn and look the other way and act like things aren't happening. And we can see things right in front of our face. And maybe because it's not in our own home, in our own backyard, and it's them, and sometimes we don't care enough to help. So just hoping what I'm saying, that somebody will care enough to help.